Hey everybody, Flip and Danny here, founders of the Freedom Real Estate Group, family of companies, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, which is called
Freedom Through Passive Income.
That's right, and welcome to another episode, and this episode is entitled The Multi-Millionaire Network.
Yeah, so I was just on a mastermind call last week, and as I'm thinking about, hey, I've got some podcasts to come up with, and it was placed on, we just did the Overwhelm episode, and so it was placed on Monday, and so I wasn't thinking about it except for this topic came up, and I went, ooh, on Monday I had written down, write 10 scripts, record 10 episodes.
Right.
And on Thursday, I'm on a mastermind, and we're chit-chatting about, different things and catching up, and I don't know what we were talking about at the time because we go through so many topics on those calls, but somebody said, gosh, look at just a bunch of multimillionaires just hanging out and talking about X. And I don't even know, like, it was obviously probably a personal thing or whatever, because it was a joke. And I just kind of looked around the people that were there, and I don't even consider us multimillionaires, right? Like we record this, how we made our first million and that type of thing. And I know it's there, like it's equity, right? It's equity in our apartments.
Right.
But I was like, you add all that up. Wow. Yeah. What? Like it was, again, a surreal moment of not only are we millionaires, multimillionaires, assets, not cash, right? I love when people think, you made $1 million, like you're rich. And you're like, oh, well, look at my bank account. Like it's an asset, right? Yeah. It's usually when you make money, it's tied up in businesses, and the cash flow that you do have is being poured into the business, poured into the asset. So you never ever feel like you've done anything.
Right.
And that feels like us. Like the very first time that we said, we made our first million, we freaked out because we had done it already and we realized it after the fact, right? And when he said multimillionaires, and I look at the people in the group and I'm like, yep. And I look at me and I go, really? I'm like, holy crap. And it was the very first time that I said we're multimillionaires.
Right.
And probably the first time that you're actually hearing it, because I just titled the episode last Thursday and brought it to you today.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep. This is usually the first time I hear many things. So,
but it's one of those things that you don't realize it's happening. It ties into everything that the last episodes, we're literally recording them back to back to back right now because of our move and everything that we had to do. We talked about it yesterday, overcoming overwhelm and how to prioritize. And we said, today we got to record 10 podcasts because tomorrow, there's nothing.
There's nothing.
And so we're recording this series, and this series very much is the, how did it happen? And it was constantly pushing, never feeling like you're too old, never giving up, even if you don't even realize what you've accomplished, looking back and taking the opportunity to go, look how far we've come. And ultimately how that ties into this episode is your network. Because when he said that on that call, not only did I come to the realization that we deserve to be in that group, but I was like, I'm surrounded by multimillionaires. How did that happen? Because we weren't even millionaires. And back when we were still actually surrounded by it. We looked up to the people. We had millionaires in our circles, multimillionaires even, but we looked up to them, and they were just a few people, right? And we were all we're more surrounded by the people who were all chasing this dream of freedom through passive income. And now I literally was in a group where everybody has achieved multi-million dollars. And I was like, how did we, that's one of the reasons and the secrets, and it's not a secret, but it's one of the biggest gold nuggets about getting where you want to go, is continuing to find the people around you that have achieved what you want to achieve and learning from them. Even if it's just one small thing that takes you another level, you continually, do that, then the momentum and years, or months, depending on where you're at, suddenly you go, did I make it? What? And it just it creeps up on you, right? So I don't know if you have anything, but that was my idea about what I wanted to share about this is the fact that you don't even realize it, and then suddenly you're surrounded by all the people that you didn't even realize are at the stage that it's just like the whole thing just baffles me. Still to this day, I'm like just going, what? Did that really happen? Did this really happen? Like, I swear I'm going to wake up tomorrow and go, you're still chasing, baby.
Oh, yeah, well, we're always going to be chasing. That's in our DNA.
Yeah.
But I was listening to when you were on that call, and what I think is Small World is that the gentleman who organized that group.
Yeah.
He was living in, I believe, in New Jersey.
Yep. And
his first storage unit that he ever bought was actually in Davenport, Florida, which is where we just moved. Now he lives in South Carolina.
Yes.
But I think that's just talk about a small world.
Yeah.
So I see. I listen.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but I just happened to hear that one. But talk about so that situation with you, just going, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we talked about the power room about when we talked about masterminds, and so we're sitting there one day having breakfast.
Yeah.
And the gentleman to my right, he owns the Cupcake Company with like 34 franchises. Mm-hmm. And then the gentleman across from us, he owns and runs the largest finance lender. He's the largest lender in the country for investors with like 250 employees.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And I mean, I could go around the table. Yeah. But I'm just a little guy.
That's right.
Why am I here? How's your bacon? I felt that. That was weird. I don't know if you can hear that.
We just both paused.
Yeah, wow.
I think it's
the car next door. Yeah. There's a lot of muscle cars on this street, which I love this neighborhood.
And one just revved its engine and freaked us both out. I was looking up going, is something in our house about to fall?
Anyway, so I felt totally out of water, but like you said, we belong.
Yes.
And we hold our own, but it's still, I'm not used to it.
Yeah, not used to it at all. But the message here really is keep surrounding yourself with the people that I would say two types of people. Number one, who's on your journey? Surround yourself with them because they're experiencing the same struggles that you're experiencing. And there's something really incredible and powerful about being able to share your struggles with other people on the same journey because they can relate and they can help you. They go, this is what I did. This is what I did. And you just kind of collaborate. You kind of become, on this journey together and you've got, your arms locked and you're there for each other. Yep. I think that's incredible. But also surround yourself with the people of where you want to go. When we entered the power room, we talked about the power room on a previous episode, and the fact that we're just scared to go into that room. We're like, oh my gosh, these people are so hugely successful, and they are massively successful, more than we are. At this point, I still feel like a little guy in that room.
I do,
but that's okay because you want to keep on leveling yourself up to the people that are above you, and then suddenly you're very surreally so. It's going to be surreal when you say again, whoa, we took that step. How did we take that step? We kept on surrounding ourselves with people 10 steps ahead of us. And right now, what's the conversations happening in these multimillionaire groups? We're talking about asset protection. We're talking about trust. We're talking about estate planning. We're talking about things that you and I have never talked about until like the last 6 to 12 months. And I think it's because we started to get to the point where we needed to start talking. We're like, oh, we need to start talking. We need to start doing this, having these conversations. And we started finding the people that have already been there or are also studying it. And so we got our top tier of people that we're trying to catch. And we've got our people who are on the same path as us and that we're collaborating with. And I think a part of life's journey in personal life and professional life is that you keep on climbing and you keep on finding those two groups of people to surround yourself with. So I think it's really, really important to talk about that because that is one thing they always said your network, but what does that mean? Right. What are the two groups that are most important to you? And I think finally we've identified the people that are on our path and the people that are above us that we're chasing and we're watching ourselves level up.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Well, we hope that you enjoyed that episode. Make sure you're heading on over to our website, freedomcapitalinvestments.com, to join our investor club and to check out the swag.
Yes.
And also make sure you're checking us out on all the Facebooks and the LinkedIns and the Instagrams. I got it this time. But we like to end all of our episodes with
invest smart,
live happy. Bye everybody. Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions and information on the show are not guaranteed. All investment strategies have the potential for profit and loss.